Alright, what is going on YouTube? And today we got a new top 10 video. It has been a while. I think I'm going to continue this series even if it's a little bit infrequently. And today we are going to be going over my top 10 favorite Taco Bell menu items. So, just to preface this, I started eating Taco Bell in 2014, so any item that came out before then, I do not have the grounds to critique or rate in any way. And secondly, this is all my personal opinion, so if you have an item you think should have been higher or should be on the list or that I haven't tried because I didn't start eating Taco Bell early enough, be sure to comment it or even mention your list in the comments down below. And lastly, this list is completely separate from all breakfast menu items because that would be a whole nother can of worms we were opening, and I just don't want to get into the intricacy of rating a list like that. So yeah, getting into the honorable mentions, in no particular order, we got the normal tacos, be it soft-shelled or normal-shelled, the bean and rice burrito, cantina taco, nacho fries, and we'll get into nacho fries in a second, and the Power Bowl, because I do like the Power Bowl. I like mixing it all up, having a Taco Bell version of a Chipotle bowl. You can BYOT, bring your own tortillas and just make your own burrito with the Power Bowl or use it as a chip dip. I really like the Power Bowl. And nacho fries, I only recently became a fan of nacho fries, and it was while I was drunk. So I don't really know what that entails or what that means for the nacho fries, but I'd had them maybe 3 times prior, and I didn't see the hype. I thought they were decent, but people live and die for the nacho fries, and I did not enjoy them that much. But I recently became a fan, so that's why they made an honorable mention. They're pretty good, but Taco Bell's menu is so incredible that I think top 10 was very generous, especially for me. So yeah, coming in at number 10, we have the Steak Cheesy Street Chalupa. And this is an interesting one because it has the potential to grow much higher on my list because it is so new. It is a brand new item on the Taco Bell menu. Basically, it has a gordito, like the cheesy gordito crunch type of flatbread shell. Then within it, it has a chalupa, like that kind of fried bread kind of shell inside of it. And in between those two layers, they have this seasoned meat filling in between those two shells. And then in both of those, the kind of mega shell that they have created, they have your steak and jalapeno ranch, a mixture of these cilantro and onions, and I think cheese as well. It's such a delicious combo, and I think it has so much potential, but I've only had them one time, and that's why they came in at 10th place, because I haven't had time to really solidify them compared to the other monumental menu items on this list. But I like what they're doing so far. I'm liking what I was tasting. Coming in at number 9, we have the beefy potato flatbread taco. And I don't know if this is still on the menu, but it was basically like the flatbread that you find around the previous item or around a cheesy gordito crunch, filled with seasoned beef and these little potato wedge things, kind of like the little breakfast skillet potato chunks, along with some nacho cheese and sour cream. And this used to be a value menu item. Again, I don't know if it's still on the menu, but you used to get this for $1 to $2, and it was so good. You could pay $5 and get a couple of these things, and they're just so good. The potatoes are such a nice touch with the beef and the flatbread. It was just a very scrumptious item, I thought. So this is where the list gets kind of intense. This is where it's hard to distinguish one place from another because the menu items are just that good. Now, back in, I think, around 2018-ish, there used to be a menu item called the Frito Burrito, or maybe the Beefy Frito Burrito. And it was comprised of your tortilla, beef, rice, cheese, and Fritos. And it was like the chip Frito, like the little corns, like shredded chip type of thing. And it was so good. It was the perfect combination of all the things you like about normal burritos with like crunchiness. It was probably one of the fattest things I've ever eaten, and yet the list gets even fatter down the line. But they made something kind of like this where they had little red strips, but it was not the same as the Frito Burrito. And that was another very cost-efficient item. I can't remember what it used to be priced at, but it was around the same thing as like the 5-layer beefy burrito, and it was delicious, let me tell you that. Moving on to number 7, we have an item that came out in, let me think for a second, 2021. Yes, the late 2021. We have the chicken strip soft shell taco. Basically what this was a chicken tender inside of a soft shell taco wrap, along with some lettuce, I believe, and some sauce. And it sounds pretty simple. It doesn't even look that good, but that chicken strip was so good. Now, imagine a good chicken strip, and then imagine it wrapped in a bunch of other delicious, like, ingredients. And that was basically what this was. Now, the big problem with this was that they were about the size of your thumb. Like, they had a little more girth, but they were a small item, and they were like $2 for one of them. So whatever they were breading those chicken strips in must have costed a wallop or something. But they were very good. They were very, very good. They used to have like a box that came with, I think, 1 or 2 of them, and then a couple other things. That's usually what I would get, because I couldn't justify paying for just the little singular versions of these. And they were so good, probably tasty enough to be ranked higher on this list, but because of the size to price ratio, I have to leave it at number 7. Now, moving on to number 6, we got an item that I'm sure a lot of people are going to want to see higher up on this list, but the top 5 I enjoy more by far, and I enjoy them clearly more than this one. But I still always, every once in a while, find myself in a mood for the Crunch Wrap Supreme. And more recently, they came out with like a Crunch Wrap Supreme that instead of having the taco disc inside of it, has a massive Cheez-It in it. And I like that honestly a little bit more than the original. I think it adds a nice cheddar touch to the Crunch Wrap Supreme. Everybody knows about the Crunch Wrap Supreme, pretty self-explanatory, a nice blend of scrumptiousness and crunch, and it's very easy to eat. Like, you can eat that thing in the car without making a mess, so it has a very high utility function as well. But that's number 6. Coming in at number 5, we have the fattest item on this list. Probably the fattest item on the Taco Bell menu of all time, and probably one of the fattest fast food items of all time, and that is the grilled cheese burrito. This gargantuan burrito was about 9 to 10 inches long, and it was wide too. It came with your choice of meat, some of the little red Frito-like strips, shredded cheese, nacho cheese, and rice. And then on top of this burrito was put a coat of cheese that was flipped over onto the little stove thing and grilled into the tortilla. So this thing was sloppy. It was hard to eat this thing. It was so greasy. Every time you ate it, you would feel like you had to take a shower afterwards. It was probably upwards of like 1,000 calories, maybe 720 calories. I'm not for sure. But this thing was delicious. It sounds pretty disgusting in theory, but when you actually have it, The grilled cheese on top is a nice touch, and I just think that much fat and that much damage to your arteries can't possibly taste like anything other than delicious. And I think it might still be on the menu. I'm not for sure, but I know that it stuck around for a long, long time if it's not on there anymore. Coming in at number 4, we got the most versatile item on the menu, and a lot of people might think this item is too high, while other people may think this item should be number 1. Everybody knows what I'm talking about. Coming in at number 4, we have the 5-layer beefy burrito. Pretty self-explanatory. A little expensive now. It used to be a pretty cost-efficient item, but coming with 2 different layers of tortilla with nacho cheese in the middle, and then wrapped up inside of there, beef, beans, sour cream, and nacho cheese. I think shredded cheese, not nacho cheese, for the very inner layer. This is very simple. You can't go wrong with it. Absolutely delicious. I remember getting the party pack after football games sometimes, or like fishing trips, and just eating that thing all by myself, or with the boys. And in any value box or $5 box, you always hope to have the 5-layer beefy burrito instead of the normal taco, because it is just so good. The 5-layer beefy burrito has withstood the test of time, maybe not the test of inflation, but I personally think that it has solidified a very well-deserved spot on this list. Coming in at number 3, we have probably the most controversial item on this list, because I think you will either love it or you will hate it, because it's one that hasn't been on the menu too frequently. I think it's only been out a total of 3 times. I remember it came out in 2017, my 8th grade year, for the first time ever, and once more I think my senior year, and then maybe one time in between, but I don't think that it's been out since then. And what I am talking about is the Naked Chicken Chalupa. And what this was a kind of folded patty of breaded chicken. So imagine a taco shell, but the shell is just fried chicken. And inside of this fried chicken was lettuce, tomatoes, and shredded cheese, topped with a jalapeno ranch type of dressing. And this was absolutely delicious. It was small, and they had a spicy version that would kind of mess with my stomach, but it tasted so good. And it came in like a $5 value box with like a 5-layer beefy burrito or something, and it was just so good. I miss this item, and I wish they'd bring it back more, but I know that a lot of people might feel that fried chicken does not have a place on the Taco Bell menu. I disagree, but I can see how others would think that way. I just hope that they all had a chance to try the Naked Chicken Chalupa. Coming in at number 2. Now everybody knows what these top 2 are going to be, and I think they are well deserved. In which order they go in, honestly, comes down to preference for most people. But at number 2, we got the Quesarito. Throughout history, there have been many questions that have plagued the minds of people all across the world. Was the moon landing real? Are aliens real? Who shot first? And why did Taco Bell remove the Quesarito from the menu? This was one of the most beloved menu items of all time, and it was basically a double-layered burrito with melted cheese in between those 2 layers, kind of forming like a filled burrito outside. And that was filled with rice, sour cream, nacho cheese, and your choice of either steak or beef. And this was one of the favorite, and it also had like this like kind of chipotle sauce in there. But this was definitely a favorite, and I think it got taken off of the menu like around 2020 when Taco Bell decided to go like kind of like virtual with a lot of things, with like the ordering online type of deal. But everybody loved the Quesarito so much, and it would break the internet. It would be in Time magazine. News stations in Asia would be covering the return of the quesarito if they so decided to bring it back. With that being said, that can only leave one option for the #1 ranked Taco Bell menu item on this list. And everybody knows what that's going to be. We got the Cheesy Gordito Crunch. Specifically the Cheesy Gordito Crunch with the Dorito shell. If you had the misfortune of not being allowed to eat Taco Bell growing up, or if you're a vegan and decided to avoid fast food for your own reasons, the Cheesy Gordito Crunch is a flatbread taco shell with a hard taco shell in there and melted cheese insulating these two, like kind of filling those two shells in between. And then inside of that is seasoned beef, sour cream, shredded cheese, and lettuce. And I think sometimes tomatoes. They might put some tomatoes in there sometimes. But back when it was like when the PS4 had been out for a little bit, I think they had a combo box, or maybe it was the new Xbox One X or something like that. It was a console anyway, and you could get either a quesarito box or a Cheesy Gordito Crunch box, but the Cheesy Gordito Crunch came with a Dorito taco of your choice of spice level, and then I think a normal taco and maybe some chips or something, and the quesarito came with like the quesarito and then a Dorito taco and one other item. But they would load you up back then. It only cost $5. But the Cheesy Gordito Crunch is one of the best culinary experiences a human being can even taste. And if you haven't had it yet, for some reason, I recommend you going and trying it out. By far my favorite, probably fast food menu item ever. I think the only competition I can even think of is maybe some Raising Cane's chicken strips. But yeah, the undisputed champion of my list. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. And if you have any disagreements, make sure to put them in the comments down below. Thank you for watching. Love you guys. God bless you, and peace out.